Welcome back after a short break, Igraspers, to your weekly news capsule. From there to here and here to there, funny things are everywhere. So let's get ready and step up to being happy and laughing as much as we can, for laughter is the best form of therapy. The highlights for today's capsule are: Under 18 vaccination drive begins. International and local aid reaches India. Astronomers discover the hottest planet in the known universe. Russia produces first batch of COVID vaccine for animals. World's oldest water dating back 1.6 billion years found in Canada. IPL suspended due to several players and management testing positive for coronavirus. And finally, our very intriguing F2 segment. It's now time to begin with the national news segment.
India began the third phase of COVID-19 vaccination drive on May 1st, making it possible for all people above 18 years to get their first jab. Despite hitting initial hurdles due to vaccine shortage, over 86,000 people got inoculated on day one. The central government is taking all necessary steps to increase the vaccine supply. The first lot of Russia's Sputnik V has already arrived last week, and America's Pfizer jabs are also expected to be made available soon to help ramp up India's immunization drive. So, Igraspers, as all agencies work towards strengthening our fight against COVID, we must support their efforts by staying safe, wearing masks, and keeping indoors.
Small acts, when multiplied by millions of people, can transform the world. Igraspers, this quote has literally come to life in the past few weeks. When India saw a massive spike in COVID-19 cases in the recent weeks, countries, individuals, and organizations from all across the world came together to offer their support. Over 40 countries, including the US, UK, UAE, Russia, and France, have started sending critical medical supplies. From common individuals to celebrities, from local businesses to global organizations, all have come together to aid India, be it Google, Microsoft, Sony Group, or Reliance Industries. Actors, sportsmen, startups, all have joined hands, from Sachin Tendulkar to Sonu Sood. People are contributing in all possible ways. International and local aid has already started reaching, and it's only a matter of time before the menace of COVID is completely tackled.
Scientists have discovered one of the hottest planets in the known universe, with temperatures ranging up to 2700 degrees Celsius in the day and 2300 degrees Celsius at night. Located about 490 light years from the Earth, the planet TOI 1431b is also 1.5 times bigger than the biggest planet in our solar system, Jupiter. The reason for its high temperatures is because it's extremely close to the Sun in its solar system and has an orbit of just 2.5 days. Most metals would not even be able to enter its atmosphere, as their melting points are about 2000 degrees Celsius. This would mean that they would turn into liquid state quite fast. Another interesting thing about this planet is that it appears to spin in the opposite direction of the Sun. This is called retrograde.
Russia has produced the world's first batch of COVID vaccines for animals. The vaccine, after many tests, showed that it generates antibodies against COVID-19 in dogs, cats, and even foxes. Companies from several countries like Germany, Greece, South Korea, Iran, and Argentina have shown a lot of interest in buying the vaccine. This vaccine is important as the World Health Organization has raised concerns against the risk of transmission of the virus from humans to animals. If transmitted, the virus could mutate, causing a huge speed bump in our fight against COVID-19.
The state of Karnataka is looking to adopt drone technology to deliver COVID-19 vaccines in remote areas. The government also believes that this can be used to give medicines inside containment zones as well as sanitize primary healthcare centers within the state. With a surge of COVID 19 cases in Karnataka, the government is looking for innovative ways of sanitizing and delivering medicines without putting the lives of frontline workers at risk. Drones will eliminate human contact and thus will reduce the risk of spread of infection.
A SpaceX capsule carrying 4 astronauts landed safely in Florida last week. This was NASA's first nighttime ocean landing in more than 50 years, with the crew also reporting that they were feeling fine. The astronauts have been in space since last November and traveled 114.6 million kilometers during their 167 days on the International Space Station. This also marked the first space mission to the ISS from US soil since 2011, when NASA ended its space shuttle program. Now, the American Space Organization ties up with private companies and coordinates and helps with their launches.
NASA astronauts have grown and harvested 2 crops in space over a period of 64 days. The 2 crops harvested were mustard and dwarf pak choy. This is the longest period for which any leafy greens have grown for in space. The astronaut who grew these vegetables, Michael Hopkins, said that the grown plants were a nice alternative to the pre-packaged food they were used to and that it reminded them of their connection to the earth. This experiment was important because most crops that sprout vegetables and fruits require pollination, which, when done manually, require a lot of precision, especially in space where there is reduced gravity.
During the International Climate Summit that happened last week, 3 governments and 9 multinational corporations have taken a pledge to raise $1 billion this year to preserve tropical rainforests. This coalition, called LEAF, which stands for Lowering Emissions by Accelerating Forests Finance, includes the governments of the United Kingdom, the United States of America, and Norway, along with several international companies such as Airbnb, Amazon, Nestle, and Unilever. The goal of this coalition is to create an independent standard which is monitored by which companies. Governments and NGOs must pay for high-quality emission reductions in these forests.
Igraspers, have you ever wondered what makes the Earth unique from the other planets? Well, it's the presence of water above the surface, of course. This allowed life on the planet to exist, and thus we owe our existence to a tiny molecule known as H2O. Scientists, in fact, have found what may be the oldest water on the planet in a mine in the Canadian city of Ontario. Tests conducted by the scientific team from the University of Oxford believe that this water could be as old as 1.6 billion years. What also makes this water unique is the fact that they found microscopic life forms living in it, which is the first time this microbial life has been found outside the ocean floor. This will help scientists better understand how life evolved on Earth.
Desert donkeys and horses are considered as a threat to natural environment and regrettably a target of mass eradication. However, in the latest research, it has been seen that these wild animals dig wells to reach groundwater. These wells in North American desert are sometimes the only source of water for more than 57 species of birds and herbivores, such as mountain lions and mule deers. Incredibly, once the wells dried up, some became nurseries for the germination and establishment of wetland trees. Igraspers, isn't this fascinating? Nature knows balance. It's unfortunate humans are still struggling with it.
The Board of Control for Cricket in India has indefinitely postponed this year's edition of the IPL. The IPL was in full swing despite India facing a huge second wave of the COVID-19 cases, and the BCCI has suspended the league following several players and support staff from various teams testing positive for the coronavirus. According to the IPL Governing Council, the decision was made due to the current situation in the country as well as several international players leaving the tournament for safety reasons. The BCCI has not yet confirmed a return date for the tournament, with many speculating a return in the winter, perhaps in the UAE.
The Sports Authority of India has invited several former athletes who have taken part in the Olympics as well as World Championships to join as coaches and assistant coaches at SAI. More than 21 disciplines have been opened for these positions, with the organization saying that this initiative was driven by the need to include as many international athletes to guide young talent in their goal of representing and winning medals for India. SAI in phase has their hands full as they have received more than 300 applications from former athletes interested in these positions.
Last week, Belgian authorities destroyed more than 22,000 guns collected by police, melting them down into some 60 tons of recycled steel. Close to 50% of the firearms were collected from across the country, handed in by owners, some of who had inherited but not wanted to keep them. The other half was obsolete police weapons. It was the third time Belgian security forces cooperated with steel giant ArcelorMittal to destroy firearms. This covert operation resulted in 22,457 firearms to disappear from the Belgium.
The word of the week is inoculate, which means to inject a person with something that helps fight diseases. Make sure all adults are inoculated against COVID-19. It is an important way to stay protected.
Mango is an Asian fruit and we all love it, don't we? However, the heaviest mango has been grown by a pair of Colombian farmers in South America. It weighs 4.25 kilograms. This impressive mango has been certified and recorded in the Guinness World Records. The previous record was held by mango found in Philippines that weighed 3.43 kilograms in 2009. The farmers believe that this mango represents a message of hope and joy in these pandemic times.
The riddle of the week is, what has teeth but cannot chew? Think. It's a comb.
Can you guess who? This English broadcaster and natural historian has the most honorary degrees. He had collected 32 by January 2013. Called the great communicator, peerless educator, and the greatest broadcaster of our time, he is best known for writing and presenting the 9 Natural History document series in association with BBC Natural History Unit. He is the only person to have won BAFTAs for programs in each of black and white, color, HD, 3D, and 4K. Of course, you guessed it. It is none other than Sir David Attenborough. Did you know that Sir Attenborough is believed to be one of the most travelled men in history? He has been travelling the globe to provide enlightenment to us since 1979.
Did you know that World War II lasted 6 years and 1 day? It was a battle between two groups, the Allies and the Axis. The major allies comprised of Britain, China, US, France, and Russia, whereas the major Axis powers were Germany, Japan, and Italy.
Quiz time! Name any one European country which remained neutral and did not join any powers during World War II. Send your answers to contact us at igraasp.com. Answer for the last week's quiz. The Dead Sea gets its water from the Jordan River. This certificate of appreciation is presented to Reet Sharma of Lotus Valley International School 8 Pinjore for successfully participating in the weekly quiz on India's leading news capsule for tweens, Igraasp.
Dear Igraspers, this week let's dig holes with Stanley Yelnats, a 14-year-old boy who is charged of stealing a pair of running shoes. As punishment, Stanley is sent to a correctional facility, Camp Green Lake, where he must dig a 5 feet wide, 5 feet deep, cylindrical hole each day for the warden. This dried-up lake has venomous yellow-spotted lizards crawling everywhere. Will Stanley be successful in digging holes, dodging the lethal lizards? Will he dig something out? Read this young adult adventure novel and share your feedback on igraasp.com/iClub.
This brings us to the end of our news wrap. A smile starts on the lips, a grin spreads to the eyes, a chuckle comes from the belly, but a good laugh bursts from the soul, overflows and bubbles all around. Until we meet again, let your soul overflow with laughter and happiness at the smallest reason and minutest occasion. See you next week.